This is your Daily Mix. The following segment is sponsored by Barber Law Group.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Daily Mix. I'm Bill Frankmore. Today, we're not talking about the easiest of subjects. We're talking about the breakups of unions, even in your later years. Today, we have Jessica Berry. She's with Barber Law Group. Jessica, thanks so much for coming in.
Of course, nice to meet you.
Good to see you as well. These are called silver divorces, and you say that they're trending. They're actually growing in popularity. Not a good thing. It's just a sign of the times.
Yeah, that's correct. Silver divorces, they're also sometimes called gray divorces. It is a more recent phenomenon. Sometimes it is attributed to the divorces after the baby boomer generation. So it was a term that was coined by the AARP. And it is just a divorce that happens between people in their later years.
Okay. Now, why are people in their later years? What are some of the reasons that these folks are getting a divorce?
Probably exactly what you'd be thinking. One of the primary reasons is that people's kids have grown up, they've left the house. Sometimes they call that empty nest syndrome. So people who have stayed together to raise their children together have decided that it is finally time to part now that they've done their duty as good parents to raise their kids together. Another reason is just because people tend to grow apart and they have stayed together to try to make that work, but decide that they have a lot of life left to live. And that's another of the reasons, is that people are living longer nowadays and they have more years at the end of their life to try to be happy, explore new people, explore new things. Okay,
now what are some of the common issues? I think even when we brought up silver divorce, I think viewers will know where we were going, and you said kind of the reasons they get divorced are these, but what are the common issues?
So generally, when we handle a divorce at the law firm, a lot of the things we're dealing with are going to be very contentious issues. There's a lot to do with custody when you're talking about people that are divorcing in their younger years, especially if they have those children. And that is because custody issues are often the most heart-wrenching and the most contentious to deal with. With silver divorces, gray divorces, we're dealing a lot more with finances, with people who are sort of more resolved to do this amicably, have an amicable process between the two of them. So we're dealing a lot more with retirement accounts, making sure that we're dividing finances in ways that are appropriate for older people. We're dealing a lot in Nevada specifically with PERS accounts, what options we use for those. So it's a lot more financially based than custody based, and therefore tends to kind of be a little more focused on negotiation rather than just really hardcore contentious litigation.
Okay, say there is this breakup of a union. Is there a difference? What are the differences as far as going about a silver divorce versus a divorce in their earlier years?
So again, it's going to be a lot about the attitude of the people who are getting divorced. One of the hardest parts of being a family attorney is that you are dealing with people who are struggling through the hardest part of their life, or one of the hardest parts of their life. When we're dealing with silver and gray divorces, we're dealing with people who are just they're working together more. They are not happy to be getting divorced, but more resigned to that fact. So the way that we go about it...
So are they more amicable in some instances?
I find that they are a lot more amicable because you're not dealing with the custody issues, you're not dealing with, who's keeping the house, all those common issues that we deal with. They tend to have a plan, people are ready to move on to different parts of their life.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Do people in these silver divorces maybe come into your office, see what's going to happen, and then say, we'll just stay together miserably?
I mean, I can't tell you it has never happened. It has happened once or twice, but no, generally, when you are in your 50s and 60s, you've decided the best path forward and you want to go towards that path, and you're generally not going to be persuaded to do otherwise, especially when we can offer a more peaceful process. A lot of it is, more negotiation, more conversation, more just trying to make things even rather than trying to get out on top.
Yeah, it is good to hear that these in the later stages of life are more amicable.
Yeah, they tend to be. Not that they can't be in the earlier years also, but they definitely tend to be that way in the later years.
Okay, Jessica Berry, she's with Barber Law Group. Thank you so much
of course.
For filling us in about these silver divorces, as they call it. If you have any questions, feel free to give Jessica over at Barber Law Group a call. That's going to do it for this Daily Mix, everybody. Have a great day, and we will see you next time.
This segment was sponsored by Barber Law Group.